Hello, YouTubers. It's your boy Threes. Welcome to the channel. The topic today is kind of could be a touchy topic. Um, I've entitled it "Racism in America." It's basically going to be from my perspective and how I feel racism is going in America. And the reason I decided to talk about this was because with all the things that were happening a few months ago with Baltimore and the riots in Baltimore, there are some things being said about black people, African Americans, whatever you want to call it. I'll just say black people. Um, that I didn't necessarily agree with. I wasn't really feeling just the way they were putting it out there. And so, first off, I want to say, I don't know how long this is going to be. If it gets too long, I'll break it up into parts, and that's how I post it up on the YouTube. I also want to just put a disclaimer out there. Maybe some language, some terms, or something people don't necessarily agree with or find offensive. I apologize for that now, but I'm gonna just say stuff as directly as possible, just so that there isn't any confusion or anything like that, or misinterpretation. I'm just saying how it is. And so, got some notes here. It's probably, if you catch me looking down, that's all I'm doing, looking at my notes, trying to make sure that this flows right and everything, and I cover all the topics that I want to cover. So, basically, to start, like I said, I feel like you know, racism in America is still prevalent. You know what I'm saying? As a young black man, I've experienced some things. It may not necessarily have been as bad as other people's experiences, but you experience some things, you notice some things as being a young black man. Um, and because of that, I can say that racism is still prevalent in America. It's still here. There's still people that don't like me just for the simple fact that I'm black. Just because of my skin tone, people don't like that. There's some people out there, and I mean, we have made some headway. I will agree. I can attest to that. We have made some headway, but I still think that we have a long way to go before things really improve. And that's another point I want to make. I'm not trying to bash anybody or get down on anybody, and I'm not trying to get down on black people, and I'm trying to get down on white people or anybody. And my focus is going to be the black white relationship. What I'm saying? But this is can also be for racism in general. But just from my perspective of the black and white thing, and that's how most things work. Um, like I said, I want to engage you in the thought process and get your mind kind of hopefully swayed. If you do feel prejudice or racism or something like that, just kind of hopefully, if you're open to it, um, just kind of sway your thought process, get you to think about things a little differently. And if you're one of those people who don't think that racism is here in America, whether you're black or white or whatever, I feel like that's kind of naive, and you kind of got your shaders up or whatever. But like I said, I want to present some things, basically from my thoughts and process, my point of view, and get that out there. Let's see. So yeah, so like I said, it was initially the Baltimore riot stuff, and that got me thinking. That kind of stirred this up in me. And then I was, so gonna make this video a long time ago, a couple months ago, but I didn't. And then most recently, what restirred it up in me was the South Carolina shootings, and how that whole situation was handled and things like that. But we'll get to that. So the next, kind of step down, or next topic here is, my perspective on how racism is in America today. Um, and it's basically broken up into what I think two parts. You have two types of racism in America. Now you have either blatant, just all out racism, what I'm saying, people just F you niggers, hope you die, why don't you go back to Africa? People that's just like that, just don't like you just for the sake of your skin tone, whether you be black or, what I'm saying, you know, you don't like Asians or something like that, just because of their nationality, just because they are who they are. No other simple fact is that, that's the first main one, blatant racism, and I think, easy to spot. Anybody can spot that, you know, that's the easy one. The other one that becomes a little more difficult, in my opinion, is what I call subtle racism. And just to kind of, I think this is the one that's more predominant in America, the subtle racism slash prejudice, whatever you want to call it. I think this one is the one that's more prevalent, and I like to categorize it as that it starts with this claim. You know what I'm saying? I'm not racist, but, what I'm saying, and I'm not racist, but, anytime you throw that but in there, something good's not going to come from that. You know what I'm saying? Something. The next thing that's coming is going to be a contradiction to what you said at the beginning. That's how I look at it. I'm not racist, but contradiction. That's how it is. And so, the first kind of set on that is, I'm not racist, but I feel like I can say and do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all for freedom of speech, but you have to know that with freedoms come certain trials that you're going to have to go through. Basically, you're going to have people that, I guess, abuse those freedoms. That's how I want to say it. You're going to have to deal with people just being ignorant. So, I'm not racist, but I can say, this and that about you. I can, do this and that, as long as it doesn't harm you or whatever. But, I'm not racist, but, I can say what I want. I can do what I want. So I can say, the N word or whatever, and just because I can, what I'm saying? It's freedom of speech. So I should be able to say the N word, and, as far as the N word, I said it earlier to start the video. But I'll break down what I think the differences are. There's two types of N-words, basically. And I'm going to break down what I think those differences are here a little later. The next part of subtle racism is the comment or the statement that's made is, why don't you go back to Africa if you don't like it here so much? My issue with that is that, most of us black people that's here, are from Africa. We from here too. We were born here in America. We are not from Africa. Maybe along the lines we got some ancestors that were born in Africa. But the funny thing about that is that, when you hear white people say that, you gotta remember, you ain't from here either. This ain't your native country either. So, and what I was thinking about yesterday as far as that statement goes, and it's like, well, we could say that about you. Well, if you don't like black people here so much, why don't you go back to Ireland or Britain or, wherever your native ancestors hail from if you don't like black people here in America so much? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that we have to leave when, in all honesty, we weren't, we didn't ask to be here? You know what I'm saying? But we are here now and we've been here. So deal with it. You don't got to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So we all can go back to wherever we came from and give this country back to the Native Americans that are still here. But I'll touch on that as well later. So, and then, let's see. Oh, yeah. The other part of that is that people that like to make racist jokes, like extremely racist jokes, like I don't mind a racist joke. You know what I'm saying? They can be funny sometimes, but for people that just, tell racist jokes just because they know it's gonna strike a nerve, that's what bothers me. When people do stuff just because they know it's gonna strike a nerve. You want to say the N-word just because you know it's gonna strike a nerve. You're gonna tell this extremely racist joke that ain't even really funny, just because you know it's gonna strike a nerve, and you're not getting a chuckle because of the joke. You're getting a chuckle because you know it wasn't cool and it bothered somebody. That's why you laughing. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's really at the heart of it. But people don't really think about that um, at the start from the beginning. You know. So I got down here an example, and I feel like I want to give an example of a racist joke that I heard that I thought was, I thought was funny, was clever, and it was, guys walking, walking in the snow, slips and falls on the ice, and so he comes in and says, hey, talking to somebody, hey, I was walking, coming in here, and I slipped and fell on some ice, and I got up, and my wallet was gone, and I knew it was that black ice. And that one I thought was kind of funny, it's kind of clever, it's kind of funny, made me chuckle a little bit. The one I didn't think was funny was say, how do you get a black man out of a tree? Cut the rope. It's not funny. I don't think it's funny at all. I don't. Yeah, I don't see how anybody can use like. I don't see where that real laugh would come from. I don't at all. You know what I'm saying? And not even, if it wasn't for the fact that it's called black ice, I feel like, you could have spun that first joke and made it, for like Mexicans or whatever, because I think they're like stereotyped as, notorious for stealing and stuff too. So, but it's called black ice, and they apparently black people steal a lot too. So that's that's it. But it's still, like I said, I thought it was kind of funny. It was kind of clever. So that's one that I think is funny, and then one that I don't think is funny. So stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If you do it tastefully, I don't have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? It can be funny, but just for the sake of causing, just for that shock factor, that jaw dropping wow factor, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's worth it. And so yeah, just to reiterate, those are my, you got your blatant racism, then your subtle racism, which falls into, people who, feel like they can say or do whatever they want, what I'm saying, despite, um, people that kind of tell jokes, excessive racist jokes, just for the fact of telling excessive racist jokes, what I'm saying, just for that all wow factor. And then my personal favorite, just one at the end, is where it's like, I don't date outside of my race. I always thought that one was very interesting, and I thought that was very stupid, from all standpoints. I mean, because there's a lot of different people out there, a lot of interesting people out there, and I present you with this one for that one. Let's say, always in a perfect world, you can always do this. There's always type of scenarios people come with, but let's say you one scenario is you're dating, what I'm saying, you've been dating for 20, 30 years, solely dating people just from your own race, um, and no luck, what I'm saying, no success. Now, whether it be the type of guys or different type of guys, but what I'm saying, you're just not feeling it, you haven't been in love, nothing like that. But you're interested in, something else. Let's say you're interested in, like the Spanish culture or something like that. Why not date a Spanish guy? What I'm saying? Learn about the cultures, find you a nice Spanish guy. Or on the flip side, or another scenario rather, what if, what I'm saying, what if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that the person that you were going to fall in love with and be with for the rest of your life, and that was going to treat you how you desire to be treated. Let's say, example, if you were white, if that other person was black, would you pass up on that opportunity? And if you would, why? Just because they're black and you're white? That's so stupid. That's so stupid. You don't know who's out there. There's a millions of people out there. You don't know who you're gonna fall in love with. What I'm saying? And if you don't know who you're gonna like, and if you just basing people just solely off the color of their skin, you're gonna miss out. What I'm saying? You're gonna miss out on a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting information. You're gonna miss out on learning stuff. What I'm saying? That's those differences right there. So yeah, so those are my views of racism in America. Um, Yeah, and like I said, I never understood just just solely sticking to just women of your own race. I feel like, I mean, I can probably find, matter of fact, it's not even probably, I know I can find a beautiful woman for every race that's on this country. A beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you cannot deny, like, if you deny that Halle Berry is a beautiful woman, you know what I'm saying? Just, I don't understand your thought process. You know what I'm saying? And then I can find a beautiful woman, Shakira, beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing out some real easy names here, but I agree, she's a beautiful woman. Um, let's see. Jamie Presley, I think she's a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can pick a woman from every race. I may not know all the names, but I can pick a woman of every race, what I'm saying, that's not my own, and find you a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? If you can't honestly be honest and do that, yeah, then there's some racism going on. There's some prejudice going on there. You know what I'm saying? You have to own up to that. Um, and so for the next fun topic, moving on to the N word. Yes, N word and other derogatory racial slurs. But this is the one I really want to touch on because it's that word. You know what I'm saying? It's that word. That's that flair word. That's that fire word. That's that wow word. That's that jaw dropping word that just seems to cause so much trouble. And again, like I said, I'm all for free speech in America, and I know with freedoms, you're gonna have to deal with just idiots, just morons, ignorant people. You know what I'm saying? Like doing stuff just because they can, but then also wondering why, stuff happens. Um, Prime example, like I hated what happened in Texas um, with the with that shooting at, I think it was a newspaper company or whatever. Said I probably haven't got my facts all right, but I know they're in Texas. There was a competition to draw Muhammad, and of course, that's an issue. So of course, some radicals show up, shoot at the place. I don't think anybody was harmed or injured, but those radicals ended up getting shot. Now my thing is, prior to this happening, over in France a few months back, some people went up into another news place that was notorious for doing that and shot that place up and killed a lot of people. So my point is, you knew that that was going to be a touchy subject. And I'm not saying, before you start getting on your rant, I'm not saying we should be afraid. I'm not saying, I'm saying we shouldn't um, exercise our free speech. What I'm saying is that if somebody is going to try and do something, if you do this, don't be surprised if they do it. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If if I knew that if I went up to somebody and punched them in the face and knew that they were gonna shoot and kill me, my family, me, can't nobody be surprised that they shot and killed me. That's all I'm saying. And you shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Don't poke the bear if you don't want the bear to get mad and attack. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised. Don't act like, oh, they did this, and try to rally around it when you caused that drama. You caused your issue. You know what I'm saying? I never understand people that do that. I hate people that do that. And like I said, I'm not saying we should be afraid. I'm not saying we shouldn't exercise our free speech. I'm not saying we can't do this, but I'm just, if it's gonna be touchy and people gonna try to come in and kill innocent people, why put them in that situation? Why? Anyways, back to the N word. So, in my opinion, the big controversy with the N word, the biggest controversy with the N word is not necessarily what's being said, it's how it's being said, is my viewpoint on the N word. Um, and so there are two variations of it. It's the nigga, Nigga, and then there's the nigger, Nigger. So, for simplicity's sake, let's say that the nigger is bad and shouldn't be said. Shouldn't be said by nobody. By Chinese person to a black person, white person to a black person, uh, Hispanic person to a black. Shouldn't be said by nobody. Simplicity's terms, that's the hateful. You know what I'm saying? That's that hatefulness. That's just bad. That's the one I think is the biggest. You know, I've never heard that said and it not been to try to stir up some type of feelings of aggression. You know what I'm saying? Never. Now, the nigga, not so much. You know what I'm saying? It's still touchy. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of those, you got to be more careful with how you say that. And, prime example, and just craziest things happen to me, but back when I was in college and on my way home from college, and this is back when, didn't have a car or nothing, so I'm catching a Greyhound. So I'm on my way to go get on the Columbus public bus to go downtown to catch the Greyhound. So I'm walking and I see this white guy, and he comes up and he's like acting like he knew me. Didn't know this guy at all, like not at all. But he acted like he knew me. He came up and was, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? What's up? Threw his hand out there and, said something, and then was like, my nigga. And, by the time he said that, we was already like this. And, it happened so fast and I wasn't expecting it that I was just like, he just called me a nigga. Like, he just said that to me, right? And so, we finished that, and then, once it processed, I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, dude, I don't, what I'm saying? I don't know you. And, he said something else, but at that point, I really wasn't listening to nothing else he said. But he said something else, and he just went on. And so I was more shocked than anything that he just dropped it like that. But you could tell by the way he said it that it's something he says all the time, just like any other black person would say it to another black person. My nigga, what's up? What's going on? He dropped it just like that, like no. And so part of me wanted to be mad just for the simple fact that he was white. He said it. But the other part of me was just like, stuff happened so fast, and it was just like, can't even really be mad though. Like there was no hate, no anger behind it. He wasn't, and like I said, it was more so just for the simple fact that, he was white and he said it. Like, that was it. But, once I sat down, processed it, told the story, it was like, you couldn't really be mad. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, whenever the N word is used, and especially from coming out of a white person's mouth to a black person's mouth, like I said, I've never heard it not be negative. I've never heard it not try to stir up something. Like, you stupid nigger, or, die nigger, or something like that. And even when, like, playing Call of Duty and stuff, you will hear, you hear it dropped so much. And, they use it as a term of, why you playing like a stupid nigger? Like, which makes no sense to me, and always brings me a great joy to hear them talk like that, and then see them be like at the bottom of the list, and then don't let me be near the top or do even slightly better than them. Oh, I revel in it. But anyways, the point is, I never heard it not be said, not be said like that, you know. And so, again, just to reiterate, I think it's two terms of the N word, two forms of the N word, and one is just always, always, always bad and considered hateful. The other one, in my opinion, maybe not so much. Um, Again, this is not a free reign. Oh well, three said go ahead. I can say niggas all I want to, nigga. No, I'm saying not only watch what you say, but there's also a lot in how you say it. You know what I'm saying? Just watch how you say stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you don't try to cause controversy, you know, just don't try to be funny with it. Don't try to be, anything like that. Any type of negative spin that you're gonna put on it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to drop this, I'm trying to say this just because I can, you know, it's not gonna work out for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, it's not gonna be taken it's not gonna be taken well at all. And so with all that being said, and again just following my notes here, just making sure I'm covering everything, gonna get to what really stirred this up in me and of the meat of this topic for me, and it's the fact that um, some things that I heard being said by white people about black people, the black culture. One thing that disturbed me is that they considered us a subculture. Um, and anytime you say sub, in my opinion, that means less, a lesser type thing. A sub anything is just lesser. So that right there was a flag for me. Um, Two, they was talking about, with the whole riot situation, and just to give some background on that, there was a black guy who died in police custody due to police, um, let's say, negligence. And so then there were protests, and during those protests, kind of riots, jumped off. Now, I don't understand people that riot. I'm not condoning rioting. Rioting is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Why destroy your own place of residence, your own city? You know what I'm saying? Making it hard for you to get around the next day. You got to clean that stuff up. That's not, it's not smart. But I think what was missing in this discussion with riots is that, you know, well, let me backtrack. What they were saying. So with that being said, with the riot situation, that little brief background. Um, Yeah, but there's a lot of white reporters and political talk people and stuff like that just saying that just black people are inherently violent. It's in their nature. Like it's, you know it's and it's fact. Fact. It's fact that black people are violent. It's fact that it's in their nature to be violent. And I said, well, time out, time out with this fact stuff because um, on the radio, it was this commercial, completely unrelated. But she comes on, fact, did you know that some fruits are vegetables and some vegetables are fruits? You know? And I was like, how you gonna say fact, excuse me, how you gonna say fact and then say that? The real fact is a fruit is a fruit and a vegetable is a vegetable. Now, there are some vegetables we eat like fruits and some fruits we eat like vegetables, but a fruit is not a vegetable and a vegetable is not a fruit. Fact. You know what I'm saying? So, and so with him, with this being closely in it, and him saying that, those was fact that black people are violent, the fact that black people are, um, inherently evil and stuff. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. How you gonna say that about, what I'm saying? How you gonna say that about anybody? Uh, if anything, I'm saying, all people are inherently be evil. And my point or process on that is, it's always easier to do wrong than it is to do good. And if you don't think so, think about times in your life where your parents or whoever told you to do one thing but you really didn't want to do it, right? And then something negative happened. Good example, easy example. It's always easier to not study than it is to study. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to put time, you got to put effort into it. You know what I'm saying? Versus not studying and then going in there and, you know what I'm saying, maybe you didn't need to, maybe you aced the test, maybe it was just that easy. But my point is, it's always easier to do the wrong thing than to do the right thing, in my opinion. It's always easier. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for instance, if you're mad at somebody, it's always easier to stay mad at somebody than to try to apologize to that person or accept their apology. I mean, for whatever reason. But it's easier to stay mad at somebody than it is to get over whatever you was mad about and be happy. You know what I'm saying? Or be happy with them. Like I said, think about that. It's think about that. I think it's always easier to do, the negative thing than it is to do the good thing. Um, and that's my people. I think, and I think all people are like that. And I thought it was just absurd just to say that black people were inherently evil and things like that.